We got another dance practice breakdown, and this time it's going to be the Kiss of Life Nobody Knows gaming channel down here. Go and subscribe to that, and let's go and roll it, baby. What I like about this intro is that they actually start off in a line like that, and then eventually get into this diagonal to kind of introduce each member. And what I like about this choreo is that it's choreographed in a way to where it matches the way they actually sing the song while hitting the musicality in the back of the song as well. And the thing with having just 4 members, or even just an even amount of people for formations, they essentially get limited to the effects and symmetry of formations. However, what I really like about this dance practice is that they actually use the room pretty well, where they have nice ripple effects, and then not only that, it's choreographed well to the point where it's intentional within the movement. So they're not just throwing random ass movement at us. They're not just going full out and doing all this like hard hitting shit. It actually matches really well because the way that it's done is that it's supposed to match with the way that they sing, but at the same time they add textures and fast movements to parts of the musicality of the song, like the snares, which helps us get this contrast of like, oh, they're hitting the way that they're singing, but also they'll switch over to the instrumentals of the song, which I love about that. And then they do a lot of moving around in this room in general, which I really like. And you'll see that there's going to be a trend of ripple effects in this dance practice. And so here's the iconic chorus, and I think I was trying to learn this, not gonna lie, I had a hard time doing it. What I like about this entire chorus is that I think if you're not used to this type of movement, you're actually gonna struggle executing the movement in general. Like me, I was trying to learn this, and I'm like, my body does not move the way that they move, just because I'm not used to that type of movement. And so with the chorus all the way up until this section right here, I think what's important is actually the character behind the entire choreo. So the way that they do it is that you'll have them kind of facing back and hitting the snare when they get to that part of the chorus, and then they wave back up after hitting that snare. What I like about that is that they have this build up for it. They do the pre-chorus up until they actually, sorry, I think it's the pre-chorus in this case. They have this build-up for it where they're kind of doing everything a little bit slower up until they hit those snares with their hips and their legs, and then they body roll back up to do the chorus. And I think what it is that they do a good job of differentiating the actual textures while still giving us that character, because they're all looking at us while they're doing it at the same time. So I'm just gonna replay that entire chorus section because I think that's probably what this song is known for as well. Not only that it's obviously a good like song, but I think this chorus section is what went viral on TikTok, at least for me. And I tried learning it. I'm not gonna lie, I had a tough time. Nice ripple effect here to go and move around the room. See, I like how they kind of slow things down, but speed everything back up again when they need to. And this is the part. Like, they're all looking at us and giving us like those siren eyes to give that character for the choreo. And what I want to actually point out with the chorus as well, at least the nobody knows part, is that they're putting energy from their arms all the way down to their fingertips, because their fingertips are not relaxed when they're doing like the hand choreo in front of the face. So I just want to point out Natty specifically, just because she's in the front for that. You'll notice that all of them, including Natty, will have like energy all the way down from their arms all the way up to their fingertips, because I think that's how it was choreographed. I don't think the choreo would look good if they did have like if they had relaxed fingertips for that part. I'm actually going to rewind to that part just so you guys can see what I mean. It's essentially, it's flexed. And so if you're trying to cover this dance, I think what's really important is how you portray the character. There's a lot of smirking, and there's a lot of like raising your eyebrows at the same time. So it's dance is very built on like stage presence, and you need to have that. It's also built on confidence. So if you don't have the confidence behind the character that they actually portray, it's really gonna be hard to show that you know the choreo. You can learn the choreo, but if you can't get the stage presence and or the character down, it's gonna be harder for people to actually, or like for you to actually really enjoy the dance if you don't understand how they're trying to portray it. And because there's only 4 of them, what I really appreciate about this dance is that they use a lot of the footwork that they have in this dance to actually move around the stage, or in this case the room. It looks like a pretty small room, but they use like a good chunk in the video by using footwork to move around from stage left to stage right, and even just changing formations where they're spread out. They actually spread out a lot in this dance practice where they're not really that condensed unless they have to be, but when they use their footwork to expand, just move around stage. I love that because it's very important with a small group like Kiss of Life, is that they need to be filling out spaces in the stage in order to throw energy towards the audience whenever there's like a big stadium, because you can't just perform towards the center of the stadium if you're performing on like a dome like audience. Otherwise it just wouldn't, the energy wouldn't read as well. And I like this part because they this next part they actually use like 3 ripples, I think. Here's one ripple effect, the second ripple effect, another ripple effect. And what I like about that is they actually change levels as they do this ripple effect. And they hit those snares again. And the way that they got up too, I like that they used the woo part in the song to get back up. If you guys didn't hear that already. And what's actually kind of different about this dance is that they didn't reuse the pre-chorus choreo. They used the same musicality or similar musicality, but they didn't redo the pre-chorus of the first time around. They changed it up, and then obviously they're gonna redo the chorus in a way. But I like that they did that because sometimes it's easily predictable, like, oh, they're at the pre-chorus of the song, they're doing the choreo again. What I like is that they didn't repeat it. And what's really cool about this dance is that there's actually a lot of looseness because you're gonna need it. You don't really want to be like tense in this choreo, and I think specifically pay attention to Julie. In a lot of the parts, all the members do great, but if you need a point of reference for looseness in the choreo, a good one is Julie, because she presents the choreo really well in like not the choreo, but I want to say the character. And she's not really tense in a lot of her movements, and there's also like a lot of just like it's not bouncing, but they kind of bounce off a point, like a fixed point. And I'll try to put footage over this right now so that way I can show you guys what I mean. But they're not tense. So a lot of it is, yes, they still have to flex their fingertips for certain parts of the choreo, but there's also parts in the dance that you need to be loose for, so that you also don't look like you're nervous, because this song is all about like stage presence the dance is all about stage presence and character. And if you look like you're just tense and you look like you're all like dancing inside your box, then it's harder to present the choreo in that way. Damn, the high note is actually crazy. See, a lot of just like slow movements back to speeding up, and that's what gives us the contrast. And again, spreading out on in the room, moving around, and a lot of attitude. Love that. So I'm just gonna go back to that high note part and I'm just gonna replay it for you guys. I think what's really important is we're not really gonna pay attention to the blocking for this part because she's doing the high note. So this is just general for a lot of groups anyway. But I want you guys to pay attention that they're gonna slow down their movements here, speed it up with footwork, and then again they're gonna move around the room to spread out to highlight whoever's singing the high note. And again, they're doing another formation change to get back to this ending pose. Love that. I think Kiss of Life is going to become a really big group because I think they pretty much have it all. Like performance-wise, they are really good at dancing, and not only that they're really good at dancing, they have vocals. And I love how they promote this group because it's like they have their identity. And I can't wait for like more from them just because I think they're underrated. I think they're slept on, so I'm hoping that this group like really blows up. And not to say that they're not blowing up, but they're underrated in my opinion. So they got some great performers. No, they got great performers. So anyway, if y'all like Kiss of Life, go and subscribe. I'm gonna try and break down more of their dance practices really soon.